So this was really the first funding that I've received to study autism spectrum conditions. I study the large-scale organization of different cortical regions and also how these areas are connected to other regions in the brain. Hopefully we can uncover mechanisms but also identify biomarkers and phenotypes that may help patient management. It also helps us to understand the interplay between different systems in the brain more generally. So it's also a model in a way in which we can maybe understand typical brain function and brain organization.
Our accelerated ITBS project, funded by Brain Canada and Bell Let's Talk, is to provide a more rapid and equitable treatment for treatment-resistant depression. It's a newer type of established treatment for depression that hasn't responded to medications or other types of therapies. And that targets about a third of people with depression. And so what we're trying to do is to compress the treatment that people will get and allow people to be able to access it from rural areas or other areas of the country in order to get this treatment quickly and in a fair and equitable manner.
Mental health problems are very common in the postpartum period, and COVID has made these worse. And these have effects on women and their families and their children. So with this project, we're really trying to address that, and it's a really great cross-Canada collaboration. So this funding from Brain Canada and from Bell Let's Talk is really critical to enable this project. It's both enabling us to refine and perfect the app so that there's a better treatment and more accessible treatment out there for people with postpartum mental health difficulties. But it's also enabling us to get the data that we really need to show that this is an effective treatment and to scale it up and make it more accessible to Canadians.
That Brain Canada had finally someone kind of recognized the need of supporting valuable infrastructures. Differently from other specialties, access to tissue, it's possible in living subjects. It is not the same in psychiatry. So we initiated a brain bank that today is the only real brain bank in Canada. Believe it or not, the brain still is a very poorly characterized organ, and there are basic questions that we still ignore. So the brain bank is essential to provide human brain tissue to these investigators, to individuals like myself who are interested in understanding what happens in the brain of people who are ill.
So it's really about bringing together data to build a better picture of youth mental health across Canada.
This project addresses the challenge we face in terms of better meeting the needs of young people experiencing mental health and substance use difficulties. We haven't had as much accountability in our system as we need to have in terms of delivering on services that are effective for youth with all different identities in all different contexts. Young people are experiencing a tremendous level of distress. We have unacceptably high rates of suicide, and we don't have all the answers in practice that we need.
This is the first time that a platform is being created in collaboration with service providers across Canada, with youth in the center of creating the governance for how that data will be used.
So that right from the project design stage, we are incorporating their voices, we're incorporating the pieces that will attract them into the study, and that we're paying attention to critical issues like governance and equity.
So by connecting that, by making it possible to integrate that data, connect it, it can be much more informative and much more valuable for understanding each individual person's mental health and how to best provide the care needed.
By working together, we expect to be able to achieve far better outcomes and have greater accountability to the youth themselves.
At RBC, our commitment to young people across the country creates space and capacity for partners to focus on prevention and early intervention programs, placing their unique needs at the center of the approach and long-term solutions. This partnership between Brain Canada and RBC showcases our collective dedication to young people and their mental health.